What's up, bookworms? Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the modern Olympic Games, not just as a sporting event, but as a powerful social movement steeped in history, politics, and idealism. Our guide for this journey is Allen Guttmann's insightful book, The Olympics, A History of the Modern Games, The Baron's Dream. The story begins with Pierre de Coubertin, a French aristocrat deeply affected by France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War. Blaming his nation's physical inferiority for the loss, he embarked on a quest to revitalize French youth through physical education. Coubertin found inspiration in the boisterous sports culture of English public schools and the ideals of social reformer Frederick Lepley, who believed in national unity through domestic harmony. Coubertin, however, misunderstood the role of sports in English education. He romanticized the influence of Thomas Arnold, headmaster of rugby school, wrongly believing him to be a champion of athleticism. In reality, Arnold prioritized moral education over physical development. Nevertheless, Coubertin remained convinced that sport, especially team sport, fostered character and national strength. Coubertin's vision expanded beyond simply strengthening France. He envisioned the Olympic Games as a tool for international peace and understanding, a quadrennial festival of universal youth where athletes from all nations could come together in friendly competition. Early Games and Growing Pains. The first modern Olympic Games took place in Athens in 1896, a symbolic return to the birthplace of the ancient competition. While a triumph in terms of symbolism and athletic achievements, the Games were marred by organizational issues and a palpable lack of international interest. Subsequent games in Paris, 19 St. Louis, 1904, held in conjunction with World's Fairs, proved disastrous. Overshadowed by the larger events, they suffered from poor organization, inadequate facilities, and lack of public attention. The 1904 Games hosted in America were further tainted by racist displays during anthropological days, where indigenous people were exhibited and forced to compete in a mockery of Coubertin's vision. Maturity and challenges. The 1908 London Games marked a turning point, showcasing improved organization and increased international participation. However, these games were also a hotbed of nationalistic tensions, particularly evident in disputes between American and British athletes and officials. The 1912 Stockholm Games, hailed for their impeccable organization, saw the introduction of electronic timing and a growing acceptance of women's participation in events like swimming and diving. Sadly, these games are also remembered for the stripping of Jim Thorpe's medals due to his previous professional baseball experience, highlighting the growing obsession with amateurism and its inherent class bias. War and renewal. World War I interrupted the Olympic cycle, but the Games resumed in 1920 in Antwerp, Belgium. The Games became a platform for newly formed nations, seeking recognition and asserting their national identities through sport. The debate over amateurism continued to rage, with Coubertin finding himself increasingly frustrated by the focus on technicalities. The 1924 Paris Games saw the emergence of the Winter Olympics as a separate event showcasing winter sports like skiing and ice skating. The Summer Games in Paris witnessed remarkable athletic achievements, particularly from Finnish runners like Paavo Nurmi. However, nationalistic tensions continued to plague the Games, culminating in brawls between spectators and accusations of biased officiating. The Games and Politics. The 1932 Los Angeles Games introduced the victory platform, with its iconic raising of national flags and playing of anthems. These games also saw the full inclusion of women in track and field events, albeit with a limited program. The 1936 Berlin Games were the most controversial in Olympic history. Held under the shadow of Nazi rule, they sparked widespread boycott efforts due to the regime's discriminatory policies against Jewish athletes. While Hitler saw the Games as a platform for Nazi propaganda, the performances of African American athletes like Jesse Owens ultimately challenged Nazi claims of Aryan supremacy. Destruction and recovery. World War II brought another interruption, but the Games resumed in 1948 in war-torn London, symbolizing hope and renewal. The 1952 Helsinki Games saw the arrival of the Soviet Union, marking the beginning of the intense Cold War rivalry played out on the athletic field. The Games became a battleground for national prestige and ideological superiority, with both sides using the athletes as symbols of their respective systems. The ensuing decades were marked by political controversies and boycotts. The IOC faced challenges from newly independent nations seeking recognition, the ongoing debate over the inclusion of athletes from South Africa under its apartheid regime, and the emergence of regional games like the Asian Games and the Mediterranean Games, often fraught with political tension. The modern era, 90 each. The escalating cost of the games and the growing influence of television led to the commercialization of the Olympics, a trend that accelerated in the 1970s. The games became a lucrative business with lucrative television deals and corporate sponsorships. The 1980 Moscow Games were boycotted by the United States and its allies, a tit for tat response to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The 1984 Los Angeles Games were boycotted by the Soviet Union and its allies. These boycotts demonstrated the vulnerability of the games to political manipulation and the limits of their power to transcend international conflict. In summary, Guttmann's book paints a complex and nuanced portrait of the Olympic Games. It's a story of athletic excellence, national pride, social change, and political turmoil. The Olympics have never fully achieved Coubertin's idealistic vision of a world united through sport, but they remain a powerful symbol of human potential and a platform for dialogue and understanding, albeit one perpetually shadowed by the realities of the world we live in. So, what do you think? Are the Olympics more than just games? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed this recap. Thanks for watching and keep on reading.